This episode goes out to Jeff in Montana.
Hi there, Megan Robinson here. Welcome back to the Nightblade Epic Podcast. If you haven't left us an iTunes review yet, we'd really love it if you could. This is another episode we recorded in advance because we're geniuses and we launched a podcast while Garrett and I were both traveling a lot. Anyway, the point is, we can't thank everyone who left us a 5-star review this week. But you know who you are, and next week, everyone else will know it too. And if you're not one of those people yet, you can be. Leave us a review on iTunes and help more people find the show. Next up, we're only 17 days away from Emerald City Comic Con, and we can't wait. We're a little freaked out, but we can't wait. If you're going to be there, come see us. You can pick up a book if you want to, or you can just say hi. And you can do all that at booth number 2222. That's 2222. One final reminder. The Nightblade audiobook is now available on Audible. If you visit underrealm.net/audible and sign up for a free trial, you can get a free copy of the audiobook right now. It could be on your phone in seconds. Just go to underrealm.net/audible and sign up. Okay, now it's time for today's episode. Today you're getting Chapter 8 of Nightblade, as Lauren hides from murderous constables in a merchant caravan. Enjoy!
Nightblade, Chapter 8. Lauren inspected her surroundings with haste. Bolts of cloth lay on wooden shelves that lined either side of the wagon, and a thin aisle ran up the center. A merchant's caravan. She hoped that would help. From what Lauren knew of the rich, they did not appreciate the eyes of the law and had skill at turning them away. But even a cursory look would find her here. The merchants had packed their racks too tightly for Lauren to slip in among them. She almost turned and left, but then she heard footsteps outside, near the wagon. Her heart skipped a beat, and she slipped deeper into the wagon. Then she saw that she had been wrong before. One shelf near the front of the wagon was empty. Lauren slid onto it, squeezing back as far from the aisle as she could manage. A great shout sounded outside, followed by the hiss of drawn steel. For a moment, Lauren feared she had been discovered, but the sounds retreated, and she realized the caravan had spotted the constables. She heard hooves approach and pull to a stop not far from her wagon. "We are men of the King of Selvin, about his business," came Corin's burbling voice. "And what business has the king with us?" came a sharp reply, a woman's voice. "We pursue a man and a girl." This time it was Byrne who spoke. "They fled us south on the King's Road. We spotted the girl on that ridge. She may have come among you." "No girl came," said the woman. "We have seen no one since yesterday. Who is this man you seek?" "He is between our heights," said Byrne. "He may have worn a blue coat or a dark green cloak. His hair hangs long and curled." "We saw him, or one like him," said the woman. Lauren put a hand over her mouth to stifle a gasp. "When?" said Corin. "Yesterday, just after the sun had set. He came upon our camp at night and offered us fair payment for a horse. He refused to rest the night, though we offered him hospitality. Instead, he rode on, south, along this road." The constables remained silent a long moment, or if they spoke, Lauren could not hear their words. "He did not have a girl with him?" Corin said at last. "She would have been young, in forester's garb." "Of course he did not," said Byrne. "We just saw her." "No one came with him," said the woman. "Alone he arrived, and alone left. Nor have we seen any other since. If you pursued him, I am sorry to have sold him the horse, but we could not have known he deserved justice." "Of course, my lady," said Corin. "Last night, you say?" "I do." "Then we must away. We thank you." "Hold," said Byrne. "The girl is near." Again they fell quiet, though this time Lauren felt sure the constables must be speaking softly. That proved true as their voices gradually swelled in anger. Finally, Byrne spoke again, loud and clear. "If you have not seen her, it will not matter if we search your wagons." "They carry only goods for trade," said the woman, indignant. When Corin spoke, he sounded as though he held anger in check. "My stalwart friend is mayhap over-eager, but the girl could have arrived without your knowledge and stowed herself away." Lauren searched around her in panic. They might not see her from the wagon's rear, but then again they might, and if they came inside the wagon, they would find her for certain. "Come now," said the woman. "Our guards stand vigilant. She is not here." "Let us see, then," said Byrne. His voice had taken on a mean edge that Lauren did not like. Her eyes roved again over the inside of the wagon. No better hiding place presented itself, but as she glanced at the floor, her gaze caught on something. A shaft of sunlight fell upon a board that protruded from the wagon's floor. She leaned out and prodded it with her fingers. It was loose. She lifted, and a large panel rose silently. Beneath lay a compartment, cunningly hidden. Within sat several packages wrapped in brown cloth. But more important, plenty of space remained for Lauren to hide herself. Like a snake, she slid into the compartment. Then she held the wood panel steady on all her fingers, lowering it into place without a sound. She could not be sure it lay flush, but she could do no better. Lauren heard the constables move down the caravan towards her wagon, drawing closer. She heard a gruff snort, and then the wagon shook. Heavy boots thudded onto its floor, and Lauren barely kept from yelping in fright. Through the cracks in the panel above her, Lauren spied Byrne's grim features. The constable walked up the length of the wagon, peering into every corner. He stuck his nose right into the shelf where she had hidden a moment before. At last he turned and stalked towards the wagon's rear. The whole thing shook again as he clambered out. The constables moved slowly away. Lauren waited, breathless. Each passing moment felt like an eon. At long last she heard conversation again, though it was too far off to make out. And then came the thunder of galloping hooves. Still she waited, listening for some clue or sign of safety. Instead, she heard voices. One a man's, deep and booming, and the other belonged to the woman she had heard earlier. "They found none of the compartments?" said the woman. "None, my lady," replied the guard. "We followed them every moment. They never so much as glanced at their feet." "That is good, though it was too close a thing regardless. I do not like surprises." "Nor I, my lady," said the man. Their conversation ceased. Lauren thought they must have moved away. After a few minutes of silence, she reached up to lift the panel off. A quick glance told her no one stood behind the wagon to see, so she slid out of the compartment and replaced the panel before creeping to the back of the wagon. Now guards stood in thin-stretched rows down both sides of the caravan, all of them facing outward. Her escape would prove more difficult than her arrival, it would seem. But as Lauren surveyed their positions, trying to work out the best angle by which to leave, a child appeared from nowhere. She sprang up from below the edge of the wagon's back panel, a tiny thing with skin as black as night. Yellow brocade glinted on a muted purple gown, matching the shine of her innocent eyes, wide as dinner plates. They grew wider still as she gaped at Lauren. "Who are you?" cried the girl. "Are you the one the constable sought?" Lauren fled for the front of the wagon. It had a smaller opening than the rear, but still large enough to slip through. But as she dropped to the ground, she found herself facing a yard of bared steel. She froze. Her eyes traveled up the length of the sword to the man who held it. He dwarfed any person she had ever seen. His skin, like the girl's, nearly glowed in its darkness, but Lauren could scarcely look away from his eyes, for they were solemn and uncompromising as stone. He wore a shirt of chain and a silver helmet like the other guards, but also steel pauldrons wrought with gold inlay. Lauren took him in for a moment, and then her knees buckled and she collapsed to the ground. She cowered at the steel point of his sword, ready to leap forwards and plunge into her chest. "Who are you?" said the man. She recognized the booming voice from earlier. I... The word Nightblade leaped into her mind and vanished like a puff of smoke. Gregor, lower your blade. A woman arrived, and Lauren could hear it was the one who had spoken before. Her voice was even more distinct in the open air. From her eyes and the shape of her face, Lauren knew at once that this must be the mother of the little girl she had seen. But where the girl was all bounce and innocence, in the woman's face Lauren saw a grim determination more steely than her captain's sword. And at her command, that sword dropped, its point sinking into the grass. The woman strode forwards, swirling her dress around her with a flourish. Like a wizard's trick, the little girl appeared just behind her mother's legs. Lauren thought at once of the bear cubs. "You are the girl the constables sought, I imagine," said the woman. No trace of a question lined her words. I am," said Lauren, finding her voice at last. More of her wits gathered to her, and she hastily added, "My lady." "Help her up." Gregor seized Lauren's shoulders and hauled her to her feet. To Lauren it felt as though he could fling her into the sky, but he set her down almost gently on her heels. The woman gestured with 2 fingers. Gregor took 3 steps back, quick and yet unhurried. The woman stepped forwards to take his place. Her hand leaped out to cup Lauren's chin and tilt it up. She studied Lauren's face for a moment. "How came you by that eye? Not from the constables, I hope?" "No," said Lauren, unsure how to take this. She winced as the woman probed her bruises with a finger. "That gift I received before their pursuit began." The woman removed her hand and stepped back. "Do you choose to withhold your name?" Lauren blinked before bowing. "I am Lauren, my lady, of the family Nelda." "Damaris," said the woman, inclining her head, "of the family Yaren. Well met." "And you," said Lauren, keeping her head and most of her body bent. She could not shake a keen awareness of Gregor and his sword. "Oh, stand, girl," said Damaris. "I am a merchant, not the queen." Lauren straightened. "Thank you." "You are pursued, and rather hotly, it seems," Damaris went on. "Tell me why." "They spoke the truth. I traveled with the Lauren clamped her mouth shut, her cheeks flaming red. "With the man they sought." Damaris's nostrils flared. "I thought I heard a secret hidden in their words, but a wizard? That is remarkable. I suppose I should count myself lucky the man did not cast us all in fire and steal the horse he needed." Her eyes flicked past Lauren to the wagon. "But tell me, the constables were thorough. How did they miss you?" Lauren heard something in Damaris's tone and thought she knew what it might be. "I found a loose board in the wagon's floor, my lady. I hid myself beneath it." "In that wagon?" said Damaris, pointing. "Yes, my lady." Damaris's voice took on an undercurrent of steel. "And did you see anything else concealed within the floor?" Once again, Lauren heard the meaning beneath the words, and so she said, "Not a thing, my lady. The compartment lay empty, with plenty of room to stretch my legs." Damaris relaxed, lips twitching in a smile. "It is such a pleasure to find wit and charm in a chance stranger." Lauren bowed again. "My lady is too kind. I give only the truth." The tension on the air melted away, and Damaris's daughter emerged again to study Lauren. Her wide eyes roved up and down. Lauren had the uncomfortable feeling of being a sow under inspection. "Will we give her to the constables, mother?" said the girl. Lauren's heart slid into her throat, but Damaris shook her head. "We will not. They sought the wizard more keenly, I think, and he abandoned her. Sending this girl into the hands of the law would gain us no profit." Lauren seized upon Damaris's hidden meaning. "I know of the hidden compartments and what lies within them," she thought. "If they give me to the constables, I might speak of them." It gave her a sense of security. When 2 strangers walked together outside of the king's law, neither could gain much from betrayal of the other. Then she had a second thought, and realized that might not be so. If such knowledge indeed proved dangerous, Lauren's corpse would serve Damaris better than her presence. Lauren's eyes flitted to Gregor and the bare steel in his huge, gloved fist. As though she read Lauren's mind, Damaris shook her head. "You have nothing to fear, girl. Not needlessly do we spill blood. Such policy serves one who lives by the sword, but rarely is it profitable to those who live by the coin." Again she motioned with 2 fingers. Gregor slid his sword into its scabbard, though too slowly for Lauren's comfort. "Thank you, my lady. It would seem I am in your debt." "I have given you nothing," Damaris replied. "I have merely neglected to take anything away. Now, where are you bound?" Lauren thought of a lie she might tell, but the thought went too long, and so she abandoned it for the truth. "Cabras." "And your wizard friend?" "Cabras as well." "Do you seek for him, then?" That gave Lauren pause. Did she? Lauren did not know. She only knew that she had begun her journey with Cabras in mind, and nothing had given her cause to change course. But Zane? Mayhap she would find him, but she would not be surprised if he had quit her forever. "I do not, my lady. He seemed eager to part ways with me, and I have no reason to think that may have changed in the day that has passed since." "And did he give you that kiss upon your face?" Lauren shook her head quickly. "No. In fact, he rescued me from—" She nearly said my father, but something held her tongue. Damaris did not need to know, and doubtless did not want to. Instead, she said, "I was trapped. Zane provided the means of my escape. Though I know not why he left, I bear him no ill will." Damaris nodded. "Very well. If Cabras be your destination, then our paths lie upon the same road. You will travel with us, at least for now." Lauren swayed on her feet. "I would not impose myself as a burden upon you, my lady." "No, you would not." Damaris turned with a whirl of her dress and left, Gregor close on her heels. The daughter remained. Her eyes gazed wide and white, striking Lauren again with their intensity. Dark brown irises made the whites all the more prominent. After her mother had passed out of earshot, the girl stepped forwards. "I am Annis," she said. Lauren bowed. "I am Lauren of the family Nelda. Well met." "I know who you are," said the girl, giggling. "You told Mother." "Still, manners are never out of place." Annis's smile dampened as they roamed Lauren's face. "I do not think the one who gave you that eye had very good manners." Lauren's hand rose to her left eye, brushing gingerly against the dark bruise. "No, he did not." "Are you a great fighter? Have you killed many men?" "With this?" Lauren laughed and pointed at the bow. "This is no bow for fighting, nothing worthy of a great name. Squirrelbane, you might call it." But she felt keenly aware of the dagger on her belt, and she drew her cloak a little closer. She did not think anyone had seen the blade, and it might be best to keep it that way. Annis giggled again, oblivious. "You are funny. Come, you may ride with me in my carriage." Lauren followed her towards the front of the caravan, but as she neared the lead wagon, she felt a keen gaze upon her. Glancing up, Lauren saw Gregor's dark and solemn eyes fixed upon her. Though she met his look, he did not turn away.
This has been a production of Legacy Books, written and narrated by Garrett Robinson. The music in this podcast was created by Will Musser. Check out his incredible work at willmusser.com. That's WILLMUSSER.com. Today's letter is E. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.